Welcome back. All Noise Radio, all noise all the time. This is Jeremy Bixon, Mrs. Bixon on the bench. And now to chat a little bit about college football. Who can believe we're halfway home, or almost halfway home? After this week, some teams will have played 6 games. Most teams play 12 or 13. Like I said, almost halfway home. Some leagues a little more, some leagues a little less. But now we're really into October. The weather starts getting cool, but not cold. The snow hasn't fallen yet. Hopefully, it won't fly too soon. But when you look out across the fields, no matter where you look, at a high school level, college, or the pros, the leaves are turning orange and yellow and red in the background. You know it's football season. Football is one of those sports that starts in the dead of summer, moves on to fall, ends in the dead of winter. It really is an all-season sport. And it really, you really got to be tough to play this game. Whether it's on the Pop Warner level, or the high school level, or the pro level, it's really a tough game. And you know what? I think it shows what America is built on. Toughness. What it should be built on. Our greatest generation would have loved football, even though it didn't come of age until after, with the greatest game ever played, which was the Giants against the Colts, when Amici scored. Anyway, like I said, we're halfway through the college season. And so far, we've had a few surprises, not too many. The only surprise I could really think of is the fact that Oklahoma is falling in the polls, and they shouldn't be. They really are, I think, one of the top teams in the country. It's just that Alabama and LSU are so good, but they're going to end up playing each other. Although the winner of that game may eventually end up playing Oklahoma, and that could get pretty ugly. Speaking of getting ugly, the college football realignment process is still pretty nasty. Pitt and Syracuse are leaving the Big East. UConn's trying to follow. If UConn goes, Rutgers will follow. West Virginia's going to be stuck where they are. TCU, who was supposed to go to the Big East, finally bought a map, realized, you know what, it probably isn't geographically correct. And thankfully for Big East teams, who I'm sure did not want to bring the women's swim team out to Dallas halfway through the season, probably in a bus. Thankfully for them, TCU has accepted an invitation into the Big 12, which is a middle of the country, sort of southwestern conference. They play, but that doesn't say much. But anyways, now for the top 25. Last night, Thursday night, Oregon hosted Cal. They didn't host them, they creamed them. They went hunting for bear and got it. 43-15. Friday night's game. Boise State goes on the road against Fresno State. Fresno State's had its moments over the years. This year isn't one of them. Take Boise State. On Saturday, you got Maryland with Randy Edsall, the guy who couldn't get out of town fast enough. taking on Georgia Tech. The only thing Maryland has going for them is they probably have another Under Armour uniform. Take Georgia Tech. The game's in Georgia Tech. Plus, I just don't like Maryland. Then over at the Texas State Fairgrounds, there's a game played every year. It's a little backyard brawl. They call it the Red River Rivalry. It's played, like I said, at the Texas State Fair every year. 1 year Oklahoma's the home team, 1 year Texas is. This year's Texas's year to host. The game's split 50-50. It's played in the Cotton Bowl. Both teams are undefeated this year, but don't be fooled. Oklahoma, that was number 1 in the country beginning of the year, that has fallen to number 3 due to no fault of their own, is gonna romp. They are gonna leave nothing to chance with the pollsters. Not with the BCS rankings coming out this week. All you're going to be hearing is a whole lot of Boomer Sooner. I don't think you'll be hearing hook 'em horns. The only things going to be hooked are the Longhorns. They're going to get run over by those wagons. Go with Oklahoma. As much as I like to tease my neighbor, Ed, who is from Oklahoma, who may be one of the biggest Sooner fans I know. And I like to tease him. And even this week I told him Texas was playing some no-name team. And I expected who was dropping in the polls. I expect Oklahoma to win, and to win big. In the next top 25 game, and, well, there's one top 25 team playing, and a sacrificial lamb. Or it might be a sacrificial husky, as the case may be. UConn goes into West Virginia. The game's not going to be close. They will be destroyed. For anyone who's seen the movie Deliverance with that mountain scene, that is going to be the Huskies. I'm sorry, UConn, but hopefully it'll be quick and fairly painless. Moving down the schedule, you have University of Kentucky playing South Carolina. This game also is not going to be close. Spurrier is going to run it up. He likes to run it up. Take South Carolina. The game's at South Carolina, too. Florida State just hanging on to the top 25. Will play at Wake Forest. I don't think Wake Forest is that good. I'm not sure Florida State's that good, but take Florida State. Illinois goes into Indiana. Indiana's team that put a scare into Penn State. Though lots of teams are putting scares into Penn State these days. All you have to do is tell Joe Paterno that there's a shortage of Geritol, and he's going to get scared. I know, not being nice, but that's the truth. In this game, take Illinois. BC plays at Clemson. Clemson should roll. They're the number 6 team in the country. Doing well. Moving on. We got Missouri against Kansas State. Kansas State undefeated in Manhattan. Missouri, so-so team. Take Kansas State. And it is what is normally a great game, and in normal years would be super competitive. But not this year. Florida comes into LSU. It ought to be entertaining. But Florida, who's had 2 hell weeks in a row, will probably get their doors blown off against an LSU team that once again is trying to impress the pollsters, especially with the BCS rankings coming out. Next up, you have Kansas at Oklahoma State. Games at Oklahoma State. I think the Jayhawks are going to have a very long day in Stillwater. Arizona State travels to Utah. Utah, that I keep waiting to have its signature win. I think this week they're going to get it. I think they're going to get that welcome to the Pac-12 win. Even though Arizona State's ranked, the game's at altitude in Utah. Take Utah. Miami goes into Virginia Tech. Good luck in Blacksburg. You have Miami, which is a mess, and Virginia Tech, who's always good. Like I said, Miami's a huge mess. Take Virginia Tech. Vanderbilt against Alabama. Vanderbilt's an academic school. Alabama's a football school, and a damn good one at that. Roll Tide, roll. Auburn, which is rumbling, they're 4-1, comes in and plays Arkansas. Game's at Arkansas. Auburn wins. Down in Waco, Iowa State comes in to play Baylor. I got a feeling the Baylor Bears are going to be too much for Iowa State. Iowa State just does not impress me. In Evansville, Indiana, we got Northwestern hosting Michigan. 2 academic schools. Just one's a lot better at football. Take Michigan in this one. Not that Northwestern's awful, but let's take Michigan. Texas A&M plays Texas Tech. It might be one of the last times, especially with Texas A&M going to the SEC. I like Texas Tech. I think they're going to send off Texas A&M with a giant Texas-size loss. Colorado plays at Stanford. Stanford will roll. And last but not least, another Big Ten game. Another welcome to the Big Ten game for Nebraska. Their first home Big Ten game. Ohio State comes in. Ohio State's a mess. Nebraska, still pretty good. Take Nebraska. And those are my picks for this week. Once again, this is Jeremy Bixon, All Noise Radio, all noise, all the time.